This is Rod Martin coming to you live from Grace Hall in beautiful Destin, Florida. And today we're talking about Donald Trump's amazing first week pro-life record and why some never-Trumpers, rhinos, and frankly closeted Democrats are pretending it didn't even happen. Just look at Trump's executive orders. Trump ended all federal funding for abortion over which the executive branch has any discretion. This includes making all NGOs that receive your tax dollars certify that they will not use your money to carry out or advocate for abortions overseas, where 96% of humanity lives. This is Reagan's Mexico City policy, the first thing Clinton, Obama, and Biden trashed when they took office, and the first thing Trump reinstated, both in 2017 and now again in 2025. Trump also issued an EO enforcing the Hyde Amendment, enacted in 1976, and absolutely the law of the land. It prohibits the use of federal taxpayer dollars from funding abortion here at home. And yet the lawless Biden administration issued two separate executive orders to circumvent it, because of course they did. Trump also pardoned pro-life political prisoners, people imprisoned for praying peacefully outside abortion clinics, widows and grandmothers in their 70s tossed into solitary confinement in federal penitentiaries. He also ordered the Justice Department to cease prosecuting several similar cases the Biden people had in progress. Mostly peaceful BLM rioters? Nothing. Just like their riots somehow were not super spreader events. If you're a Democrat, you can do literally anything. If you're a Republican, go straight to jail. It's totalitarian. But the biggest thing, Trump just signed an executive order recognizing that life begins at conception. This is huge, not least because it potentially invokes the 14th Amendment's language that no one may be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. What due process does the baby get? Many people worried aloud that Trump had gone pro-abortion back during the campaign, and many of them were quite sincere. Some of them were disingenuous, to say the least. But to be clear, my definition of pro-life is not the only one, and you can be pro-life without completely agreeing with me. I'm personally for abolition. I believe 100% that life begins at conception, and with it, citizenship, and with it, all the protections of the 14th Amendment. I believe the 14th Amendment already abolished abortion, and the Supreme Court simply hasn't caught up yet. But I don't think you have to agree with me on all of that to be pro-life, just like I don't think you have to be either a Calvinist or a traditionalist or even a Baptist to be a Christian. Trump had a genuine personal conversion on this issue in about 2011 due to a friend having an abortion and the aftermath of it. I don't know how deeply he's thought about the issue, and I'm not saying he has or he hasn't. I don't know how he defined this, though I'm convinced he really means it. It's not just political for him. That much is certain. That said, Trump got Roe overturned. No one believed it could be done, and certainly no one believed Trump would do it. But he did. Promises made, promises kept. And that started a completely new era in the pro-life fight, one for which many pro-lifers honestly weren't prepared, and at which some were frankly horrified. Take, for example, Russell Moore, editor-in-chief of Christianity Today, whose entire organization donates exclusively to Democrats and absolutely supported Kamala Harris all through the election, all while pretending to be pro-life conservatives. Russell didn't write a single word about Roe being overturned for over a month after it happened, but he did find time to do a video review of Where the Wild Things Are. These guys speak with forked tongue. They are just a fifth column. They use Christianity to advance an anti-Christian agenda. They are wolves, mark and avoid. But there were sincere people concerned. A lot of activists, and I sympathize, were horrified when Trump said he wouldn't be pushing for a national abortion ban. But let's be honest, there aren't anywhere near enough votes in Congress to pass any such thing. Trump's not stupid. He has a Herculean task ahead on countless fronts. Why waste time and political capital on something he actually can't do? So he's doing the things he can do, things in many cases that no other president has ever done or even tried. That part gets lost. But it's more than that. Back in 2015 and 2016, pro-life leaders had told him that overturning Roe was the goal. Not abolition, not banning abortion, overturning Roe, and you remember the language, putting it back in the states where it belongs. They argued for far too little. They asked for far too little. But he believed they were the experts. Why shouldn't he? And he delivered exactly what they asked for. Trump is pro-life. He's the real deal. He's a true believer. And this past week, when he's not running for re-election, and he frankly doesn't need pro-life voters ever again, he proved it. He did more for the movement than any president has ever done before him, except, Donald Trump 1.0. But there's a political calculus to this that most pro-lifers didn't think about before Roe was overturned and really haven't thought about yet. It's not just that Trump knows we do not have the votes in Congress to move any serious legislation on abortion. It's more than that. He knows what too many on our side still don't get. That if we can't win in the states, we have zero chance in Washington. And right now, we're getting killed in the states. Even in Florida, where we won on Amendment 4, the other side got 57% for unlimited abortion through the 9th month. They only lost because it took 60% to win. So in Florida, we have a great governor and a great legislature, and because of them, a 6-week ban, one of the most restrictive in the nation. But if it were up to a majority of our people even here, even in a red state, we'd be right back to Roe. Trump understands this. The truth is, our team hasn't done the hard work of persuading the American people that we're right. It's all fine and good to talk about what's morally required, but in a republic, we actually have to persuade people that it's morally required, and we haven't. You'd think after half a century we'd have our act together. But alas, like the early church rescuing babies in ancient Rome, we have a long road ahead. The problem is not Trump or the Republican Party or even the Democrats and Russell Moore, but I repeat myself. The problem is our disjointed, disorganized, ridiculously underfunded movement. We're going to have to get our own house in order, or this battle can never be won.